For years, people would walk up to the front and look at all the cars outside and the motorcycles and the signs and all of that stuff. And I go, and you know there's stuff inside. They go, oh, really? And then they walk in here and they go, oh, a little overwhelmed.
Terry Sanchez moved into this space in the West Bottoms 8.5 years ago. After some 40 years of selling vintage fun at shops like Rags, Punk Funk, and Flipped Out Antiques.
So I'm a realist, so I buy it cheap and I sell it real affordable, and we move a lot of merchandise because of that.
At 70, Sanchez says this will be his last retail address. He'll still move things online, but in the meantime, he just can't stop buying and selling and buying and selling.
This is a Western Flyer moped from the 70s with the yellow and orange coloring. You can tell the period because of the color. I bought these out of a storage sale. They're phenomenal. This is one of my favorite pieces. I always liked the rocket ship, anything and everything pretty much. This is a bar. This came out of the Yum Yum Club at 31st and Troost in the 40s. I bring so much stuff in. Usually I bring a truckload in, if not 2 a week. I told my son, my new title is I'm a hole filler. And he goes, what does that mean? I go, because if there's an open hole, I find something to put in it. That's all I do anymore. I just pile it in.
What's the story in the bear?
It was for Coors Light, of all things. I don't know. We buy a lot of display pieces. The ship in the crate, that was for Cuddy Sark. That was one of the displays that came out of the liquor store. These are yard longs that I bought out of an estate in KCK. 1933 Armor Meat Company. We do a lot of musical instruments. We do vintage stereo stuff. We do some vintage clothing. I try to stay away from grandma's china. That's just not us. We're guys. We break stuff. So that's why we tend to go with rusty steel and signs and cars and motorcycles.
The Harley is not for sale. It's one of the things Sanchez says he'll be taking home to this tiny house he's built in KCK, along with that bar from the Yum Yum and a pair of carved dragons. He does like big things.
This is the inside of my house. The scissors are a divider for my front room kitchen.
One thing Sanchez won't miss about bricks and mortar, when he finally does call it quits, is paying a landlord. But the human contact that he's grown accustomed to over half a century is gonna be tougher.
$5 for the whole box. I like to talk to every customer. Hey, what about this? And I've got a story about it, or about something similar. I had a bunch of. I enjoy working. That's the best asset I have. My wife's on a cruise right now. Don't you want to go? I go, no, I want to stay here. I'm relaxed when I'm working. For the sconce lights down the hallway.
I can see that for you, it must be that moment of truth coming. I mean,
it's a tough one. I'm still having trouble pulling the trigger. I could have had, I've got a friend of mine that does estate sales, and she said, I'll come in and liquidate for you. I've had trouble calling her. I'm going this way.